Yes, you can find amazing, rare, unusual things from all over the world at car boot sales. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you a few that I found just in the last couple of weeks. Now, to start with, I'm going to show you something which is probably the best thing I've ever found at a car boot sale. Now, have a look at this. It's going to be an odd one, it's so long. Now, I'm guessing some of you are for crutch. But I'm asking you now, if you think you've ever seen one of these before, I'd like to hear from you because I certainly haven't. I've seen prosthetic legs, arms, I've seen crutches, you know, all sorts of militaria. But this is something else altogether. It's an actual peg leg, right? So this was used by an amputee and they put their, I guess what's left of their leg on there, and, you know, they would hold it underneath their arm and they would walk with it. Now, when I first saw this, it was at a car boot sale, and the gentleman who was selling it was saying this is Napoleonic, and I was obviously very skeptical. I was like, it's probably, you know, probably World War II. But anyway, I eventually bought it because the price came down to 30 quid. He was asking people. When I first walked around, he asked for 75, and I bulked to that price. When I was walking back around, it was 30 quid, and I snapped it up at that price. But when I had a closer look, honestly, all the nails and screws are old knife wood. They're all hand wrought. They're not machine made. And look, this is totally worn leather. The most amazing thing about this is there's an actual inscription on this little brass area here. It's got a name and address. Now the name I haven't quite worked out completely. It's like W.H. Hyatt or something like that. I need to get under an eyeglass to have a proper look. The address, so you can see, and it says 14 Brook Street, Hanover Square, which is in London. It's one of those big townhouses. It's now like an Italian suit shop or something like that. I have looked that up. But yeah, when this was owned by the person whose name's on the inscription, and I'm guessing made specifically for them, because this is quite a tall one. It's, you know, it's somebody with a good height would have needed to use it. So I'm guessing it's made to measure. But this has got to be 19th century. I don't know exactly when. I've got to do more research. Now I've looked into these implements. As I said, I've never seen anything like this. I think this is just a hell of a find. I bought it thinking it was, you know, World War II. I thought it'd be a good prop. In my shop in the pumping station in Cardiff, you get these prop companies that work for TV production companies, and I've sold to them before, all sorts of things. I thought, well, this would be perfect for them. But no, this is not just for a prop. This is someone, people would be interested in this, I guess, for serious collectors, whether this is from the military or what. But I mean, my God, what a find in a car boot sale. I've never seen anything like it before. Obviously, you know, you're not going to a car boot sale to find that. That's just one of those things that you just come across and you just gotta take the plunge. And to be honest, at 75 quid, if it stayed at that price, I'm sure I would have taken it. If I wouldn't have, someone else would have, because when are you ever going to see another one of them? But that's just a start, because I'm going to show you some other things that I've been finding. I say these are just the last couple of weeks. Look at this here. Have you seen anything like that before? So you see this amazing carved detail. You've got the bird on top. I guess you could call it a finial. You've got this amazing geometric pattern in almost a shield shape. And then it does this. If you look at the back, look at that old piece of metal there. It's like a reused piece of metal and then nailed in. So, what's this? Well, if you don't know, it's a Dogon door lock. So the Dogon are people from Mali in West Africa, and they are known for making these door locks. These very decorative, well, a door lock. But imagine that in the house. It's just an amazing thing. So beautifully carved. The amount of detail in it. This is a really decorative one. Now with African art like this, you should be assuming, I would guess, that it's going to be mid 20th century onwards. You're very unlikely to find African art older than that. If you do, it's going to be a lot more valuable. But yeah, it's very rare you will find things at that age. So I'm guessing this is mid 20th century. I don't think it's a newer piece at all. I don't think it was just made for the, you know, for the new tourist trade, in my opinion. Other people might have a different opinion because a lot of African art is. But yeah, this has all been they're beautifully carved. The amount of work, I love it when an amount of work like this goes into it. So this was a great find. This is worth, you know, people ask from 125, much higher than that. I don't see many with this amazing decorative bird finial, so I'm going to have to look into it in more detail to see what I'm going to be asking for mine. Beautiful piece. Again, a car boot sale find in South Wales. So we're going to stick on the unusual, I guess, in this country to find, and have a look at that. That's an amazing card figure. Look at the, I mean, some people like look at stuff like this and think, good lord, because it is quite, you know, it's quite scary to, you know, the untrained eye. What is going on? That's a mean looking face. You know, there's this big hole there in the belly, holding their hand like that, kneeling down. Now, I've got to say, I'm not 100% sure exactly where this is from. I think it seems to be kind of Maori, which is, you know, New Zealand area. Maybe Papua New Guinean, that type of area is what I'm getting from it. I've done a quick search, and that's what's coming up. So I'm not totally sure on the value, but look, anyone who wants, you know, unusual art on their, you know, on display in their home, handmade, and you know, look at the amount of work that's gone into that. That obviously means a lot. Is going to have a lot of spiritual meaning. This piece, this protrusion, you know, this big hole there is going to have a reason behind it. But again, just an amazing thing. The use that I found now at a car boot sale. Where we've been so far, we've been to 19th century, probably, you know what, England, London specifically. We got in the dress. We've been to West Africa. We've been to Oceania, I suppose, which is New Zealand, Papua New Guinea. Now I'm going to take you to India. Oh, this is quite a heavy one actually. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen big brass chargers like this, but I think this is a stunning one. Look at the size. What am I doing here? I guess I'm not even in that shot. Beautifully done. Look at the amount of work, the amount of detail engraving that's gone into this. I'm not just seeing here, there's actually small enamels as well. So lots of figural scenes. India, possibly Persia, Indo-Persian region. Yeah, look at the amount of work in that. It's going to be, this one has quite a bit of age. As you can see, the condition's not the greatest, just because it's worn away the metal over time. To me, that just makes it more authentic and add that, you know, extra character. You know, there's bits of verdigris that you can see, which is the patina that you get on brass and copper. Look at the amount of engraving going on there. Incredible. Yeah, I absolutely love this piece. I'm just looking around. It looks like it's almost like there's a different scene almost for every one of these little cartouches here. Stunning piece. Look at that for a fine bang. Again, pieces from all over the world. That one was actually just a £5. That's all you wanted was a £5 for that one. The other two came in a bit pricier, I think. What am I looking for? The door lock and the carved figure. I think they had combined 30 quid. I'm happy with that all day. Sticking with India, this was again a South Wales car boot sale. I found this lovely bell. As you can see, it's got that bull on top. That's Nandi bull, who belonged to Lord Shiva, so a Hindu deity. And there we go. Quite a good ring to that one. Really nicely cast. Yeah, sort of gilded all over. I don't think this is a particularly old one from what I'm seeing. I think this is probably, you know, early to mid 20th century. I'm looking at the inside, you can just see it looks a bit machine made to me. But really nice, lovely piece, useful. There we go. That, you know, that would have come in for about a £5 as well. Another really unusual piece. I mean, this is unmistakably English. This, it looks like a kind of carved horn. You know, horn drinking cup, but it is ceramic, and it's got this, I guess, like a transfer wear all over it. Now I can't find anything like this. You know, it's like clearly a fox hunting scene depicted there. Got this like curved handle there. You can tell that it's ceramic. But really unusual piece. I don't even know what that is, so keep an eye out. I'll have to do some more research on that one, but really fascinating find. Okay, as a quick interlude, I'm going to show you some pieces of furniture that I found and a couple of large vases which I've taken down to my shop. So have a look at these. Right, so there's 3 pieces to show you in this part. As you can see there, we'll go through each one. First, we got this amazing brass easel. So, in case you don't know, you would be putting your paintings on there. Now, usually these are made of wood. It's really interesting to find a brass one. Now, the intention is actually for me to use this as part of my photography or paintings rather than sell it, especially initially, because it just gives a bit more prestige and it's just going to look great when I have paintings to sell. Next, we have this occasional oak table with the barley twist legs. You've got like a star pattern inside. Look at the patina, the grain on that wood. I thought it was just a spectacular piece. Mid to late 19th century, I believe. I paid £32 for that. It was a very specific ask by the dealer, but that is just a awesome piece of furniture. Absolutely loved that. I have to start with put a £200 asking price for this table in my shop in the antique centre. With the brass easel, I paid £20 for that. No asking price at the minute, but I expect it'd be worth up towards £100. This one's worth, I think, £200, just based on similar sword examples I've seen online. In fact, a very similar sword example was showing as £500 sold. You know, I wouldn't be asking that much, but I'm certainly going to be starting at 200. And this is a beautiful lamp table, or a vase table, or plant stand. Chinese, I believe. It could be from the Far East, I guess. It's a hardwood, probably a rosewood. Look at the carved details in there. A nice pattern on the inside, on the bottom panel. Just a great piece, and I picked this up for a tenner, and the asking price on that is 125 at the minute, and we'll see how it goes. In my shop, there's always a good chance that people will come in and, you know, ask for money off. It's just how it goes in antique centres, so I have to price it with that in mind now, which is, yeah, but it's just how it works out, I guess. And we've got these two, I love them, large terracotta pots with these kind of stylized patterns, sort of geometric patterns. I think they're South African. I've also seen someone describing as Tunisia, which is the complete opposite end of Africa. These are just stunning for the garden, or inside, you know, if you wanted to put them inside also. Great sculptural pieces, and I just love the, you know, the patterns and the patinas developed over time. And I got these for 20 quid. Now, I bought them in one boot sale. I took them to the next one. I was actually asking £40 for them, and they didn't sell, and I'm glad they didn't, because they're worth, I've now got them up for 175, having done more research into them. They had a lot of attention on the day, but people generally don't want to pay as much as £40 for items at boot sale, I found. But yeah, these are absolutely fantastic pieces, and very happy to have them. They're in the shop. I've decided not to ship them just because of the size, but if anyone's interested, I probably could make it work. But let's have a look at some other pieces that I picked up as well. We'll go with this one here. This is just a lovely sculptural piece, I think. You know, you've got glass here. There's actually, you know, it's not very old. There's a tag on the bottom that says, have I gone upside down there? No, I didn't actually, but it does say lacquered brass forever, lovely and beautiful, made in India. So this is a vintage piece, really heavy. Yeah, stunning piece. I looked these up, and you know, people were asking quite a bit of money for these. You know, I saw this, I got paid a tenner for it. I thought it looked really nice. Could be used as a jar for many different things. You know, I saw this 75, £80 jar, really nice. This was another beautiful thing. I thought, look at that, you know, turned wood, beautiful patina on it, and it's a box. Stunning piece. I looked these up, I couldn't find much on them, but I just thought, look, someone's going to want that, aren't they? Just a lovely piece for the home. I saw it as at least 35 quid, possibly more. Another little kooky thing. Look at that, it's a nutcracker, I'm guessing. Look, really nicely made. It's got a lot of tree bark design. These are just great things to, you know, I'm just picking these up, you know, a range of prices. But yeah, look, that's going to be a couple of quid. That's going to be the same. That was a bit more. You know, I picked up this, for example. you know, just nice brass jug with the copper. I'm guessing it's like early 20th century, but that would have been probably about 5 as well. These are great things to pick up, you know, and this is the magic of the car boot sale. Trust me, there's even more to see here. Now, got these now, jewelry's not really my area at all, but I picked these up for 5 a piece. I think they're double your money, a bit more. Really nice brooches by Wedgwood, got that Jasperware design there. They're not gold, unfortunately. Yeah, really nice. So yeah, you know, these are nice little things, little pieces to put on the website as little extras. Surely people are going to love them. This is interesting. So, Chapel Studio Glass. Now, I hadn't heard of them. Who I had heard of is who signed on the base. I wonder if that'll, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that across on here. It's probably going to be very difficult to read, but just so you can see that is etched marked. I'll read it out to you though. G. Baxter, 26 of 100 Chapel Studios, and it's a 1981. What happened in 1981? Is that a royal wedding possibly? Engraving. A beautiful piece of glass. And G. Baxter is Geoffrey Baxter, most well known for Whitefriars, where he was, you know, I don't know, I think he was the lead designer. But his name is a strong name when it comes to glass. Huge collectors. I mean, Whitefriars, the things he designed there, I saw just a couple of weeks ago. One of his Whitefire vases, it was a particularly rare one, but went for £17,000. Now, that's not, it's not going to be worth that much. But I've got to look into that one. It's going to be a nice collectible piece. His work always going to be popular. So, another great find. Okay, some more things that I've picked up. Again, these are car boot sales. The car boot sales I've been to are ones based in South Wales. I also went up to Hereford, one up there as well. Really great place. So have a look at this for a piece of porcelain, all hand painted, all that gilding as well. Really nice. So it's an inkwell. There's going to be one thing missing. Does that fit in there? Not particularly. Yeah, I think apparently you can get them remade. Now we had a look at this and we think this is probably going to be Swansea porcelain, maybe Derby porcelain. You know, and Swansea porcelain renowned, you know, famously good. It's going to be going back to the early 19th century. Even this piece on its own, you know, this would have cost no more than £1. Yeah, so this is going to be going for, you know, a decent amount more of that, just by the fact it's Swansea porcelain. This little piece as well, again, it's Jasperware. It is Wedgwood. What does this say? Bideford. It's like a ship motif by there. Now, why did I pick this up? Because a lot of people wouldn't pick up Wedgwood. So what we got here, this is why, because I can pretty much date this quite easily. It's inscribed Wedgwood and it's got England, not made in England, which is crucial. So this will date this to about the 1890s, early 20th century, which is just around the time when England would have been inscribed on Wedgwood, but not made in England. So there we go. That was a nice little pickup, just an extra thing. I'm guessing the price of that is another 20 odd quid. Really nice. We'll pick this up. How nice is this? Now people love these little collector's cabinets that you can get. Now this one, all the drawers there. Now this is something I bought off the same guy that I bought a lot of this stuff you've seen. And he was in the South Wales. I bought quite a bit from him, and he pulled this out, and I was interested in this straight away. Now he insisted on a bit more money for this one, and I did pay it. This came in at 50 quid, which I was happy with. I think a lot of people would love this. You know, you got this like brass finial thing on top. It's actually not originally made like this, I don't think. If you can see the inners, you see there those little runners, it would suggest to me that maybe this was originally a CD case or something like that. It's been converted, but I'll tell you what, they did an amazing job. It looks great. People love these little cabinets, you know, and if I can't make a profit on that, then I might as well pack it in. What else we got? I'll show you this. It's a metal mask. I haven't really been able to identify exactly what this is. I can see there's a price on it that says tribal mask prints, $49. Yeah, I've done a bit of a search on it. I don't know about any of you, but when I'm going around the boot sale, I'm not really checking things. I'm using the knowledge I have, gut instinct on what to buy. And then when I get back to the car, I'll then have a look at things and see, can I identify it? So I've done that. And it's only a quick search, and I haven't really found anything on this so far. It's late 20th century, I think, at best. I'm just looking, well, I don't know actually. Those nails are pretty hand wrought there. But yeah, I don't know. It's probably mid to late 20th century. Interesting thing. I don't know exactly where it came from, but something tells me that there's some story behind that one. Okay, about 4 more pieces to show you before we finish up. We're starting with this bit of Chinese porcelain, of course. Now, this one here has been converted into a lamp. I think converted. Basically what I'm going to have to do is take this off and have a good look underneath to see, try and get a better idea of the date. However, I think this is probably early 20th century. Very unusual type of vase, made because of the fact the coral kind of orange ground. You don't see that very often. Then you've got these kind of verte colours. See these birds motifs. You get that kind of late 19th century, early 20th century quite a lot. It could go into the Republic period of Chinese porcelain, so you get closer towards the mid 20th century. But I think it's pretty sure it's got some age, this one. So I'll take this lamp apart. And yeah, that was a tenner. That was a nice find. I'm going to probably sell it as a vase rather than a lamp. I think it's got more value. It's got a nice stand as well. So I've got these mirrors also. These advertising mirrors that you do find. This is a Ford Model 1 1910. That's a good 30 quid. I got that for a couple of quid. And I got this one. It's a bit better. This got me worth a bit more. It's like old cigarette advertising one, mid 20th century, I think. But yeah, that's been like in a bar or something like that. Got like a drilled hole on the back, which shows it's probably been up in a pub. But yeah, really nice advertising mirror, original. Again, nice little find at car boot sale. Also, really good stock. The final thing I'm going to show you, I absolutely love. Oh, weighs a ton. Look at that. Cast iron, solid. You got an amazing doorstop. Look at that knight holding. What's it? Massive. Something. It's so heavy. A shield. Look at the amount of detail on that. It's actually got like a cloth handle as well to make it a bit easier to carry. This is a stunning piece of work. Victorian era, I believe. And again, look, I paid money out on this. It's about 25 quid I think I paid, and I just paid it. Look, I'm not someone who really barters that much. If I think it's a good price and I can make my profit with it, I will just buy it. It doesn't mean I just pay whatever people are asking. There are times when this does happen. People can tell you're a dealer and their prices go up. If that's the case, I just make an assessment of, can I make a profit? I'll walk away. Then usually the price comes back down when I've walked away. That's how I generally work. But I'm not bartering over £1, £2. I kind of think, well, if I'm trying to get £1 or £2 off, why am I even buying it? It's not even worth the profit if I'm just trying to get that, snip that little bit off. I'd rather just pay the money, move on, and find the next thing. Yeah, I found something else. There's this mask. I love a mask. So this is from Java, Indonesia. That sort of part of the world anyway. It's like a theatre mask. I haven't looked into what character this is, but I really like this. So carved wood. These are usually the late 20th century, 1970s, 1980s when you see them. I'm sure they're still making them today. This one's interesting. It's got this carved, like a marking on the back, in the local language. I'm not totally sure what the language is. What looks like a phoenix finial there as well. This is really nice. I really like this one. So yeah, that would have come off the car boot sale as well. Again, another piece. I'm picking things up from everywhere, all over the world. It's just amazing these end up in South Wales, in the back of people's cars, or up in Hereford as well, which was the other one. So again, another great find. But that is it today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what was your favourite piece? Was there anything here that you would have picked up if you walked past it? Are there anything that you wouldn't have picked up that you thought, what are you doing? You let me know. Or maybe you've got some finds recently that you found in the car boot sale. Leave them in the comments. I would love to hear about them. And if you want to help out the channel, and if you've watched a few of these videos now, if you haven't already, just click the subscribe button for me. It just helps boost the channel. Or if you're new to the videos, you just discovered the channel and you're going through the videos, if you could click it as well, I would appreciate that. Like, share the videos, it's all good stuff that really helps me out, and thank you to everyone who's done that already. If you want to go that bit further, go and check out my website. It's taliesinantiques.com. That's where I sell all my items. I've got to be honest, a lot of the items you would have seen today are not going to be on there because I am behind. That's something I need to do urgently, is kind of get ahead of the game. So if you're not seeing anything that you are potentially interested in buying, just drop me a message and we can work it out. But again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again next time. All the best. Bye bye now.